Yes, guys. Sorry for the delay. I was having a bit of trouble with my browser. Um, but yeah, everything should be running okay now. I got a message on here saying that my mic isn't working, so I'm just gonna log into this myself and just test out that it actually is. One moment, guys. But yeah, thanks for taking time out to jump on this call. Um, but yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the system on how we're gonna get the newest person started. All right, guys, that's what this call's all about, getting the newest person started. So make sure your newest people are on this call. Absolutely essential. Make sure all your newest people are on the call, but also make sure you're on this call taking notes because this is essential. You guys have to be in a position where you can teach this. All right, guys, have to be in a position where you can teach it. So yeah, man. Just trying to check now, seeing if it will play. So yeah, bear with me. I'm just gonna wait on one more person to jump in, and then we are going to kick off anyway. All right, guys. So yeah, one moment. Okay, guys. So yeah. We're gonna get started. Okay, guys. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can see the document that we're gonna go through with the newest person. Now, bearing in mind this is to be done via not via, sorry, but alongside the video. So what you do is you go onto YouTube and you type in the system Derek Alexander and it will come up, and it's a 20-minute video with Derek Alexander and Alex Morton, and this is what you're going to go through with your newest person. All right, but yeah, I'm just going to share my screen just so you guys can see the document that it is that we walk through with the newest person. So it's going to be located in the Johns Vima team. If you go in there, you go to the pin post, like the Gateway to Success document, and then from there you go to getting the newest person started, and you'll see it there. It's a Word document. All right, guys. So yeah, that'll be there for you, and yeah, just getting the screen share ready. Yeah, but thanks for taking time out to watch this because I know the Brazil game's on. You know what I mean? I'm missing the second half, but yo, sacrifices, man. Got to build business. You know what I mean? What's more important? So yeah, guys, screen share is just loading up now. My web browser's running ridiculously slow. That's why I was late with this, but hopefully it will pick up anytime soon. But yeah, ensure you have a notepad or something that you can take notes with at hand. You know what I mean? Because you're going to need to take a lot of notes. Even though the PDF documents say you're going to want a bit of notes on the side to take, and just so you understand this a bit better for yourself. You know what I mean? That's what this is about. So yeah, it should be loading up now. Yeah. Okie doke. Yeah, you guys can see the screen. So this is the OKMV system. This is the system that we are utilizing to get the newest person started in the business. Okay, guys. So the system's extremely simple. It's all based upon 3 steps, which are enroll, teach, duplicate. That's it. That's all the system's about. It's about enrolling people, teaching those people who you've enrolled, and duplicating exactly that. Just enrolling the newest people, enrolling some more people, and teaching their people. Then they duplicate it, so on and so forth. All right. So cracking on straight into it, which is enrolling. So what this is about is this is basically based upon how we're going to enroll people into the business. All right. How we're going to enroll people into the business. So there's 3 main ways in which we do this. Okay. 3 main ways. First way is 3-way calls. The second way is like Uvu or Skype calls or Zoom calls. You know what I mean? Because we've got a lot of Zoom calls running at the moment. But then the third way is home events. Okay, so what I'll do is, yeah, I'll just go through it in that specific order. So a 3-way call. So basically, this is just a phone call. All right, that's exactly what this is. It's a phone call. This is where you're going to get someone who hasn't been exposed to the business on the phone with an upline. All right, so when you're inviting to a 3-way call, you don't want to do it in the sense of, oh, I want to get you on the call. I want to get you on a call with my upline so we can break down to you exactly how this works and whatnot. You don't want to do that. The 3-way calls are normally aimed at people who have like flopped numerous events. You know what I mean? They haven't showed up to numerous events for whatever reasons, or jumped on the Zoom calls like they said they would. So you're just going to randomly phone them, you know what I mean? Or just arrange a time where you can speak to them, so on and so forth. They know you're going to call them, you call them, and then you just call your upline into it. All right, so you just surprise them. Okay, but basically, with the three-way calls, you preferably want a silver or gold leader or above on these calls, or someone with a strong, relevant story. You know what I mean? Or just a strong up-and-coming leader, because we've got some great bronze leaders out there, man. So absolutely amazing bronze leaders doing amazing work. Just to shout out a few of them, you know what I mean? People like Julian Taylor, Andy Cook, you know what I'm saying? Andy Rose going bronze. These guys are bosses, you know what I mean? Vanessa McDougall. We've got a load of people who are bronze, who've got strong stories, great leaders, you know what I mean? You can get into these calls. All right, so ensure that you use these people for these three-way calls. But yeah, the basic the reason for it is simply, like I was saying, is to get those people who have flopped events an exposure. You know what I mean? That's literally all it is. Someone who you really want to see the business, who has flopped in numerous events. This is how we're going to get them onto into seeing it. But also, we can use the three-way calls for follow-up calls as well. So yourself and your prospect who's already heard this out, and then an upline, someone like myself, jump on there, explain how the system works. You know what I mean? Share the story of how we've gained success. You know what I mean? More of a relevant story to building the business, or rather than why you got started. And then through that, then answering any questions they have, you know what I mean? And then you're there to listen, so then you can then go out and do that yourself for your team when your team starts growing. All right, so that's the first one, the three-way call. All right, great way to build the business. Now the second way is, like, we've got down Uber or Skype, but we're mainly using Zoom at the moment, you know what I mean? Like these group prospect calls, you know what I mean? And the good thing about Zoom is you can have multiple leaders in the course. You can have like 2 or more leaders on there to like break down the Prezi, you know what I mean, or whatever tool it is that you're using, you know what I mean? So literally with this, like it says, you know what I mean, it adds a bit more of a personal value, because the prospects can see other prospects and they can see yourself, as well as seeing the Prezi. You know what I mean? So that's amazingly good. So literally getting people onto these group Zoom calls are amazing, absolutely amazing. Also, it's really good for the people who are at a distance. When you've got a team that's starting up in an area which isn't local to like the Midlands or London, where there are big teams, you know what I mean, it can be quite difficult, or in Blackburn, you know what I mean, where there are big teams, it can be quite difficult. So what the group Zoom calls do is it gives those people just a way in which they can still build together with us guys. It gives them that added support, you know what I mean, because they don't have the uplines present there with them, you know what I mean. So the group Zoom calls are absolutely amazing, and they're also another good exposure, because as Eric Worre says, it takes approximately 4 to 6 exposures for the average person to join. So if they come to a home event, you can then get them onto a Zoom call to show them another way in which we build the business, you know what I mean, because that might seem more appealing to them, rather than having to attend home events every single day because they're strapped for time for whatever reason. So it gives them that alternative, but it also gives them a secondary way of building alongside home events, you know what I mean? So you've got the home event and you've got this as well. So the Zoom calls are absolutely amazing for that. But like we say, the most effective way, the most effective way to build the business is home events. It's the most effective way. It's hands down. This is what's said by people like Alex Morton, Derek Alexander. That's how these guys got to, like Alex Morton says, he got to 7 figures a year through home events, doing the home events. You know what I mean? These are the most effective ways, simply because of the atmosphere that you create in the home event. You know what I mean? It's unmatched. When you've got a room and that's pumped, an atmosphere that's pumped with a ton of energy, you know what I mean, that's hard to replicate in any other way. You know what I mean, in any other way. And that's the one thing that the Zoom calls don't have over home events. You know what I mean, just having the people present, getting to see and speak to the uplines, you know what I mean, the people that have been involved a little bit longer, the people like Jamie Johns, your Paul Deans, your Daniel Browns, you know what I mean, all of these kind of guys, you know what I mean, your Mitch Pearsons, all of these people, man, you get to meet them face to face and get to speak with them, you know what I mean. So it's really, really good for that. So it's just good to get you inviting your friends, your family, and your prospects round to your house, you know what I mean, and yeah, man, literally the keys to having a great home event and an effective home event is simply one of the key things you need is cold product. Always ensure you have cold product on hand. Don't have no little dead out warm product, you know what I mean. Make sure it's cold, because Verve doesn't taste the same when it's warm, you know what I mean. It just doesn't. And ice cold Verve is unrivaled, it's unmatched. All right. But what else you want to do with these home events? You know what I mean? Is literally just make sure you got a leader present or someone who can jump on Skype. All right. So if your leader isn't present, make sure there's a leader that's scheduled in to jump on Skype or just Uvu into the home event to share their story. You know what I mean, and break down the product, the concept, or the business. You know what I mean, one of the three, however it's gonna go. But also we've got videos that people can start utilizing in their home events to make it a lot more duplicatable, but also a lot simpler for the newest person who's just got started to do a home event. You know what I mean? So literally, we've got a little structure that's in place. Jamie Johns did a home event call yesterday where he laid out a structure on how you can lay out a home event. So if you haven't seen that video, check that video out. It's on www.oknv.weebly.com. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. All right, guys. But yeah, they're the key principles to having a really, really effective home event. Ensure you have free product. You know what I mean? Make sure everyone's in a position where they can see the presentation or see the videos. You know what I mean? Make sure there's a leader either present or able to jump on Skype to break down their story or the product or the concept or the business, however it is that you want to do. But the main thing is with the home events is a simple acronym called KISS. Keep it short and simple. That's it. Keep it short and simple. 20 to 30 minutes maximum. You know what I mean? You don't want your home event dragging on because people's attention will go. You know what I mean? So literally those are the main ways in which we enroll people. 3 ways. 3-way calls, Uvu or Skype calls or Zoom calls, which is mainly the main one, Zoom calls, you know what I mean? And then home events. Like I said, home events are the best way to build the business. So the best thing to do is get everyone doing home events. But what I want you guys to really understand is, like Eric Worre talks about in GoPro, you know what I mean? You have your posers, you have your amateurs, and then you have your professionals. You know what I mean? The main one that you want to be, like what everyone wants to be, is a professional. You know what I mean? And professionals utilize all 3 of these. They utilize all of the tools. They do home events. They do group Zoom calls. They get people into the group Zoom calls, and then they do 3-way calls as well. That's what professionals do, all 3. So what do you want to do? Because the 6-figure income earners in VMAT, they are all professionals. 6 figures and beyond, every single one of them is a professional. So it kind of goes to show, if your goal is to be a 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure income earner in VMAT, guess what you got to do? Utilize all 3. So there's no time like the present. If you're hesitating on running home events, just get it out of the way. Just get it running. You know what I mean? The more you do, the easier it becomes. So yeah, man. But the key thing to getting these people onto these 3-way calls, Uvu calls, or to see these home events, is simply the utilization of the credibility triangle. You know what I mean? Edification, absolutely essential. The reason why you want to edify the upline is simply because, I mean, your prospect doesn't know the upline in any way, shape, or form. And when you put this into perspective, you think, I always like to give the example of boxing. You know what I mean? I'm a big Floyd Mayweather fan. I know a lot about Floyd Mayweather, but when it comes down to the ring, you know what I mean? The ring announcer always edifies both boxers, Mayweather and his opponent. Always. Mayweather steps into the ring and they talk about his record. You know what I mean? 46-0. You know what I'm saying? World champion in 5 different weight classes, highest paid sportsman last year. You know what I mean? Edifies him through the roof. And the fact of the matter is, all those people, those 20,000 people sitting in the MGM, and all the millions of people watching worldwide, they all know this guy's record. They already know he's a boss. But the fact of the matter is, the ring announcer still edifies them simply because, 1, for the few people that don't know, but 2, just to build the hype and to build that credibility that much more of this person. You know what I mean? And that's what this is about. If Floyd Mayweather comes down to a ring who everybody knows and he gets edified, surely the upline who no one knows needs to be edified. Because at the end of the day, as the credibility triangle shows, yourself and your prospect have a trust relationship. You know what I mean? Now, you and your upline also have some form of trust relationship. You trust your upline to help you to build a business. All right, now the only person where there isn't a trust relationship between is the prospect and the upline. Now, through edifying the upline, you know what I mean? Jamie Johns, my upline, you know what I mean? Jamie Johns, UK's #1 income earner. You know what I mean? He's took this from 10 people who he's introduced to well over 1,000 people in 14 different countries in the space of just over a year. He drives around in one of only like 3 company paid Vima cars in the whole of the UK. This guy knows exactly what it is to do, what it takes to build this business. He knows exactly what it takes, and he's about to share with you how he built it and how he can help you to build yours. All right, so what that's going to do then is build a trust relationship between the prospect and the upline, because the prospect's going to begin to trust the upline to help them to build the business. You know what I mean? The prospect's going to trust the upline to say, all right, this guy knows what he's talking about. This girl knows what she's talking about. You know what I mean? That's what you really want to instill in the head, but also you want the prospect to understand the credibility that this upline has, and that's why you edify. You know what I mean? So just to have that trust triangle. You know what I mean? Okay, so basically the second step is to teach. All right, so as it's got in speech marks, teach to teach. So what we mean by teach to teach is basically you want to teach people to be able to teach people, because that's the only way you're really going to get true residual. Because if you're the one who's only teaching, guess what's going to happen 5 years down the line? You're still going to be the only one who's teaching. Meaning you won't be able to step away from your business, because if you step away, there's no one teaching. So you want to teach people to be able to teach people. That's why you don't want to take notes just on what needs to be said. You want to take notes on how to teach this system to your people, to your newest people, and so on and so forth. All right, but you get the world of assistance in doing that, and that's why I'm on this call right now. All right, so as Alex Morton says, build the people. Building the people will build the business. You know what I mean? It's a quote that's also very similar to what Jim Rohn says. You get me? Don't go out there to build a business. Build the people, and the people will build the business. Your aim is to build people. You're bringing average people into this business. Sorry, average people. But the average people don't want average incomes. But that's all their mind can create at this moment in time. So what you have to do, you have to build their mind, personal development. You know what I mean? You have to teach them. You have to teach them what it takes to build this. Bam, they then instill that in the mind to go out and do it. So it's always mind before matter. You've got to teach the person. You know what I mean? That's what you got to build people. All right, build people. This is very, very key. So yeah, man, the first thing in teaching is a getting started meeting. And you want to set this up within the first 48 hours of someone starting Vima. You enroll someone within 48 hours, book a getting started meeting. You know what I mean? Book it. All right. And if you don't feel confident doing it yourself, hit up your nearest got silver or gold leader. You know what I mean? Get them to come down and help you with it, or just to Uber in or Skype in or Zoom in, whatever it is, to help you do that. You know what I mean? To help you get that person started. All right, so yeah, man, and what you want to do is go over a few fundamentals to get this person started. All right, and one of the fundamentals goals that you want them to go away with is just a few simple things that they need to learn, just so they have that that little bit of competence to begin with. You know what I mean? Because you really want to start to build that competence within the person. So you want this person in this 48-hour, well, within this getting started meeting, you want them to go away with resources on where they can learn about the compensation plan and learn about the product. All right, so that's exactly what you want them to do. Comp plan and product. So something simple, like you want them to be able to explain what a fast start bonus is, explain what a cycle bonus is, understand and explain the momentum bonus, and understand and explain the customer bonus, because they're the main bonuses that they're going to be triggering in the beginning. And when they're setting goals, their goals finance-wise are going to be based around these bonuses, so they need to be able to understand them. They need to be able to understand what it's going to take to trigger the momentum bonus, which will boost their income, which will hit their target of achieving £150 in their first month, if that's their goal. You know what I mean? They need to understand this. So yeah, man, by their first 2 to 4 weeks within the business, they should be able to break that down simply. They should be able to break down very, very simply the Vima product, what Vima stands for. You know what I mean? Vitamins, essential minerals, mangosteen, and aloe vera. You know what I mean? Green tea extract. You know what I mean? So you want them to be able to just give a very, very brief insight into that, very, very brief, within their first 2 to 4 weeks. You know what I mean? Because there's people in the business that still can't explain the cycle bonus. They've been involved for months. You know what I mean? And literally, when their friend asks them, so how do I get paid? They're like, we often tell you, say, it's really complex to explain. So what I can do is I can get, you know what I mean, so on and so forth, or I can get you in this call which will break it down, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And people are doing that genuinely because they can't break it down. And that's just showing incompetence. You know what I mean? That's showing the world of incompetence. If you're sitting there like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? No one's really going to be interested in joining that business. So you want to get your newest people competent. All right. But you don't want to give them way too much to go through in the beginning. So yeah, man, from here, what you want to do is a fast start training with the person. All right, so you're just going to give them the resources with the for the comp plan and products to go away with, and so on and so forth. But what you're really going to hit home on here now in this getting started meeting is the fast start training with them. All right, going through the 6 steps on what they need to do to get the ball rolling. All right, so you just in the beginning you just break down the 3 ways in which they can build the business. You know what I mean? 3-way calls, Zoom calls, or home events. Give them resources for the comp plan and products, and then bam, we're going to get to work now. So the first thing, number 1, is the why and the dreams. All right, you want to get them to like think about it and write them down. All right, guys. So literally get them to think about their why and their dreams. It's absolutely essential. So here, going down to the why. All right, because there are 3 types of people that join Vemma: posers, amateurs, and professionals, as Eric Worre says. Eric Worre says it best, man. So a poser, you know what I mean, they join just because they want to make a little bit of money. You know what I mean, they want to build some income and let it grow. You know what I mean, and these people don't really follow the system. And yeah, as it says, they try and do their own thing. These guys are the people that come in and kind of think they know it all, or think, nah, I'll try and find the shortcut for everything. That's the posers. You know what I mean? So in terms of the why, a poser wouldn't even write down their why. They just think to themselves, okay, yeah, I'd like to retire my mom, something like that, like a lot of people say. You know what I mean? So yeah, that would be a poser. An amateur, you know what I mean, these people that do have whys, you know what I mean, they do have deep whys, but it's not ingrained in them, and they don't share it with their team. You know what I mean? And the thing is, what I mean by it's not ingrained in them is they don't put it in front of their face daily. You know what I mean? They don't like focus on their why and achieving their why. You know what I mean? So it's not really a solid foundation. It's not really that solid within their organization because they don't share it with their team. They don't get their team looking at their why, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? But professionals, these are the people that have deep whys. You know what I mean? It's not just deep whys, but they share it with their team. You know what I mean? They make sure all of the organization also have looked at and analyzed their why, and then begin to share it with their team. And what that does is that makes everyone accountable to the why. You know what I mean? Because when you understand someone's why and they phone you up for a call, you're not going to flop them. You're going to do whatever it takes to help them because you know why they're doing this business. You know what I mean? And that's what professionals do. They get everyone sharing their why. You know what I mean? Because as it says, it builds empathy, builds relationships. And it's really good to do why nights. I've done a why night in the past as well. You know what I mean? Had all my leaders around and shared my why with my leaders. Got my leaders then to go out and share their why with their leaders and have why nights with their guys. You know what I mean? So it's a very, very, very good thing to do. Very, very good thing to do. But this is also one of the things that you need your team to go away and do. Step 2, which is writing the list and a plan of action. All right, writing the list and a plan of action. So again, posers, amateurs, and professionals. A poser is someone that has joined to make quick money instead of treating it like a long-term business. You know what I mean? I think it's a 1 to 2 month plan rather than a 2 to 5 year plan. You know what I mean? And they don't even write down a list, but they just have some people in their head. You know what I mean? Probably 50. It's hard to have 50 people in your head. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's got some people in there in mind. Now, amateurs, they follow the system, they write a list of contacts. You know what I mean? But when they start inviting, they get easily discouraged from the rejection and objections that they get. You know what I'm saying? And they don't really last in the business. They get a few no's from people who they wanted to join, and they're like, oh, no, I don't know if this is going to work for me. Start doubting themselves. That's an amateur. You know what I mean? Don't be an amateur, because amateurs don't get paid in this. You know what I mean? Then you've got professionals. Professionals, man, go pro, go professional. This is what it's about. All right, professionals write a big list, well over 100 to 200 names. You know what I mean? Well over. Like, we're all on a mission to write over 1,000 names on a piece of paper. I'm still adding to mine. You know what I mean? Still adding. Got well over 500 names. You know what I mean? Between my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, my phone book. You know what I mean? I'm still adding names, I was at the gym the other day, adding my boy down. I met my boy, well, bumped into my boy at the gym. I haven't seen in time. You know what I mean? So I'm adding names all the time. All right. But yeah, 1 to 200 names, and it continues to grow. They're never prejudging anyone, and understand the list is a sorting process. You know what I mean? Some will, some won't. So what? It's literally that. You know what I mean? Holton Buggs says it. All you are is a professional decision collector. You're just there to collect decisions. It's either a yes or it's a no. It's that simple. It's that simple. There's always going to be someone that will say yes. So when you get the no's, it doesn't really matter. Just treat it like a deck of cards you're shuffling. You know the ace is in the pack. You're just waiting to find the ace. That's all it is. Just keep shuffling until you find the ace. Okay. Now the third step, in which you really want your newest person to go over, and these are things that you have to practice. You know what I mean? Because why? It's not just a one-off thing. You know what I mean? You like it says, professional. Put it in front of their face. I mean, daily. They put it in. They see their why daily. You know what I mean? Your list. You're gonna always be adding to your list. You know what I'm saying? Your invite. You need to be practicing the invite to get better and better and better. All right. So here, the step 1 to 6 system here. This is like Ruth Elliott's invite. You know what I mean? That's our upline. She makes well over 2 million a year. She's like a top 6 income earner in the whole of Vimeo. All right. She's been doing this for 9 years. She's an absolute boss. Absolute boss. All right. Now, it's got 6 steps, but step 1 is just about how you sound. You know what I mean? How you sound, and that's a massive role to play in this. How you sound, how you present your invitation. But it's more or less a 5-step system. And the first one is the reason for the call. All right. So the reason for this call is, you know what I mean? So say, you know what I mean? All of that small talk in the sense of, oh, hi, how you doing? Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, man. I mean, the reason for my call is, and whatever that reason for the call is, in the sense of what appeals to them, what appeals to that specific person, that's what you're going to portray there. You know what I mean? So as it's got here, like in the example, the reason for the call is because me and a close friend have started a small part-time project. You know what I mean? It's the person's basically going to be more inclined to, let's say, time as opposed to money, because here it's got a bit of extra cash. You know what I mean? And having a free sample event, love for you to check it out. You know what I mean? If it's more about time, then, you know what I mean, me and our friends will launch a small part-time project where we're helping people to half their full-time hours, but double their income. You know what I mean? So that's going to appeal to them more. So boom, the reason for the call is, the reason could vary dependent upon the person you're speaking to. Okay, now step 3, the second part to it is, I thought of you because, and again, this is always going to differ depending upon the person. You know what I mean? You've been a good friend for a long time. I couldn't say that to a stranger I've met in the gym. You know what I mean? So these are just examples, all right? But you got to tailor it for the specific person you're talking to. So I thought of you because this may or may not be for you, but that's okay. You know what I mean? This may or may not even be for you, and that's okay. All right. The next one is, would you be willing to come along and support? Would you be willing to come along and support? You know what I mean? And then I wish I could explain it over the phone, but it's something I would really have to show you. Can I count on you to make it? So it's really simple. The reason for the call, I thought of you because this may or may not even be for you, and that's okay. Would you be willing to? And then I wish I could explain it over the phone. Very, very simple. You've got many invites, you know what I mean, that you can utilize. You've got the ABCD system by Lou Kessler, and you've got Holton Buggs in Holton Buggs Cash Cow. Absolutely insane invite as well. If you don't have Cash Cow, go into the John's Vimeo team group. Go into the pinned post at the very top. Yeah, click that, the Gateway to Success folder. Go into I think it's Vimeo Training, and then PD, or Personal Development, and then it's got Holton Buggs Cash Cow. Download that. It's absolutely essential. Get Eric Warray's GoPro out of there as well. But yeah, we'll talk more about that at step 6. You know what I mean? But yeah. Oh, I think it's froze a little bit. Okay, let's come back. All right, now. Yeah, man. That's kind of like the invite. Step 4 is communication. This is absolutely vital. Absolutely vital. All right. So communication, what you want here is, you really want your newest person to be plugged into the system. They need to be checking the Facebook groups. They need to be checking the WhatsApp groups. Make sure you're putting your newest people into those ASAP, because there's so much good information that goes through these Facebook groups. You know what I mean? Times for calls, just little motivational tips, handy videos that people post. You know what I mean? In there, absolutely essential. Absolutely essential. You know what I mean? That they're plugged in, and also it gives them that sense of family. You know what I mean? When there's someone always talking to them, there's someone always looking out for them. You know what I mean? That's where you start to build that family culture. You know what I mean? And when you've got that family culture, that's where you've got people who stay in the business. They stay in the business because people don't give up on family. They just don't. You know what I mean? So make sure these guys are connected. Connect with them via phone numbers, ooVoo, Skype, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Whatever it is, make sure you are connected with the people. You know what I mean? Your newest people get connected with the uplines and just everyone in their upline. Everyone. You know what I mean? Make sure they're in all of the groups. Okay, so yeah, man, as it says here, remember the uplines are your credibility. You know what I mean? And will help you share their success story in the beginning, if you don't have one. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, get them to learn how to edify credibility triangle. They need to connect with these guys, man. It's absolutely essential that they stay plugged into the system, they stay plugged into the groups, just so they know exactly what's going on. They know exactly what's going on, because sometimes Zoom calls will be replaced with trainings. Like now, if you're not plugged into the system, you wouldn't have known that. You'd have people lined up on the Zoom call sitting there thinking an upline's going to jump onto the group Zoom call, and it's not on. Have to stay plugged into the system. All right. Very, 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 very essential. And also, there's a small saying in this business which is so profound, and it says, when you are feeling up, reach down. When you are feeling down, reach up. You know what I mean? If you're feeling up, reach down to your downline, reach across to your cross lines. Spread that positive energy. When you're feeling down, reach up, grab that positive energy from your uplines. You know what I mean? It's absolutely essential. All right, absolutely essential. So make sure your newest people are getting plugged in. But also, step 5, and this is essential, you know, it's massive, this is, and this is what to expect. Ensure that you're showing your newest people what they are going to expect when they're joining Vimeo. You know what I mean? Because as it says, you have to be willing to embrace a temporary loss of social esteem from ignorant people. You know what I mean? People won't attend home events after they've been invited. You know what I mean? People say no, people have objections. You know what I mean? This is just part and parcel of what we do. You're going to have people that know everything there is to know about nothing. The thing like, oh yeah, it's one of them things. Nah, I'm not getting involved, man. It's dodgy. All of these things, and they'll give you all of these reasons. People don't make money and everything. All of these different things, and they think they know everything there is to know about this, and they actually know everything there is to know about nothing. I've had it in the beginning. You know what I mean? I had my mom that was against it. I had everyone that was around me against it. So many people rejected this. The world of people rejected this. Guess what? A handful of people jumped on board. Guess what? A handful of people did. Went out there, spoke to a ton of people. A few jumped on board. The few that jumped on board went out, spoke to a ton of people. A few jumped on board, so on and so forth. And now we've built a great organization in like 7 different countries. Absolutely insane, guys. So ensure that you're showing people what's going to happen. They're going to get no's. As great as this opportunity is, there's always going to be someone that says no. When I got involved, I thought everyone was going to say yes. I was shocked when people were like, I don't know about spending £120, because I thought it was a no-brainer, an absolute no-brainer. You know what I mean? I thought everyone would be on the exact same wavelength as me. I was mistaken. You know what I mean? So literally, show them what they're gonna expect. Show them that their family will reject it, might reject this. You know what I mean? People that are close to them. Show them that, you know what, you might find the fact that you really see who your friends are. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Because as it says in the quote, they'll be closed-minded as it's something different. You know what I mean? You must have rhino skin. Jed Bonelli says it best, man. Have a bulletproof mind, rhino skin, laser focus. Don't let negativity seep into your mind from the negativity that people put out there. Got to protect your mind, you know what I mean? And then be thick-skinned, be rhino-skinned. Don't let the stuff that people say hurt you. You know what I mean? I see some people get so sensitive. You know what I mean? Forget it, man. It's nothing. If the person doesn't have what you want, how can their opinion be relevant? You know what I mean? Absolutely irrelevant. You know what I mean? And then laser focus. Always have your eyes on your why. Remember the why. Be a professional. Keep it in front of you, man. Always be thinking about it. Always be thinking about your why, man. So yeah, your attitude is everything as it says. You know what I mean? A positive attitude will always attract positive results and positive people. All right, so the problem's never the problem. The problem is your attitudes towards your day-to-day experience in life. And that's so true simply because everything's a perception. Everything's a perception. You know what I mean? Like literally, there's like a simple thing, for example. You could jump into your shower and it's just cold water. There's no hot water. And you could be like, oh, crap, man. You know what I mean? There's no hot water. But then someone from another background, someone from another culture could jump in and be like, just thankful that there's water coming out of the tap. Perception. Two different people going through the exact same thing with two different attitudes towards it. One's extremely grateful, the other one's annoyed. You know what I mean? And that's literally your approach to prospecting. You know what I mean? When you're prospecting people and they're all negative, the way you can look at it is at least someone's going to say yes, or I'm one step closer to finding the person who's going to say yes. I'm one more card closer to my ace. You know what I mean? Or you can look at it as, oh my gosh, I don't know if anyone's going to join. Oh man, I really wanted that person to join. Nah, man. You know what I mean? Focus on what's positive. It's all you got to do. Because literally, this is the easiest hard work you will ever have to do. And that's fact. Especially compared to the 40-40-40 plan, working 40 years of your life. I mean, 40 hours a week, 40 years of a life to retire on less than 40% of what you couldn't afford to live on in the first place. All right, so literally ensure that your newest people are informed on what they are going to expect. All right, they have to be, man. But step 6 is getting educated. This is so essential, so essential. You know what I mean? Because to gain more, you have to become more. You know what I mean? To gain more, you have to become more. The results that you currently have in life, the results that you currently have in VMA are based upon the education you currently have, the action you'll put into that education that you currently have. You know what I mean? The reason why none of us before VMA had a million. Well, I'm guessing the majority of people watching this didn't have a million before VMA. You know what I mean? Didn't have a million before VMA is because we didn't know how to go out there and make a million. You know what I mean? So literally, the concept, you have to understand the concept of mind before matter. All right, I don't want to get too deep or anything, but you have to understand the concept of mind before matter. You have to think it before it becomes. You know what I mean? You have to think it before it becomes. If you want to raise your right arm, for example, you think it before you raise your right arm. The raising of your arm is a result of the thought. All right, so building a great organization, generating a lot of money in VMA is a result of your thinking. It's a result of your knowledge. It's a result of your understanding. So what you have to increase your income and increase your organization? You have to increase your thinking. You have to increase your knowledge. You have to increase your understanding. Absolutely essential. So that's what you really want to go out there and do. Do this personal development. As it says, leaders are readers. You know what I mean? If you speak to anyone who is a 6-figure income earner or above, ask them how many books they've read. One of the most valuable questions I've ever known to ask a successful person is, what book are you currently reading and what book has impacted your life mostly? 2 questions, sorry, not 1. What book are you currently reading and what book has impacted your life mostly? The first question is, what book are you currently reading? Is you want to know that simply because you want to know what's keeping them going. You want to know that if someone's making like 50 mil, you'll be like, oh, they're set. But you want to know what's keeping them going, what's keeping them ticking over, what's keeping them pursuing this. You know what I mean? Like, so you ask what you're currently reading. Second one is what impacted you mostly. You know what I mean? Like Warren Buffett. I don't know if this is the book that impacted him mostly, but he says the book by Dale Carnegie. It slipped my mind for a hot second as well. Not questions, the answers. How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's it. How to Win Friends and Influence People. He says that book changed his life. You know what I'm saying? Warren Buffett's the most successful investor on the planet. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. do the personal development. We've got some great tools, you know what I mean? We've got some very, very good tools. Like I said, go into the personal development, sorry, the Vima training, then PD section, get Holton Bugs Cash Cow, get GoPro by Eric Worre, you know what I mean? Some great, great books out there. We've got some listed here. But yeah, man, so that's the fast start training, the 6 steps to the fast start training. That's what you want to get people doing, the activities you want people doing to start building their organization, get the ball rolling. All right, so you really want them to do. But step 3 is duplication. All right, this is absolutely essential, simply because it doesn't matter what works, it only matters what duplicates. Only matters what duplicates. What we mean by that is basically, for instance, let's say taking off your top, painting yourself orange, writing Verve over here, and then walking through Birmingham city centre saying join Vima, join Vima, join Vima, join Vima. It might work, you might get a few people join, but then guess what they're going to do? Exactly what you've done. Paint themselves orange, take off the top, walk through Birmingham city centre, until you get to the point where you just got a bunch of people walking through Birmingham city centre painted orange, and it doesn't work anymore for anyone. What you want is a system that will duplicate on and on and on and on and on, will never stop. The key to duplication is simplicity. Something that's simple that any and every single person can do. That's why we have a video to back up this document. This is just notes off of the video. So go on to YouTube, type in, like I said, Derek Alexander, the system, and watch the 20-minute video. You know what I mean? These are the notes to match that. A video is very duplicatable because any and everyone can watch it. Any and everyone can watch the video. You know what I mean? It's very, very simple. Everything we do in Vima has to be duplicatable. Every single thing. The only thing that's going to be single or personal to you is your story. That's the only thing. It's the only thing that's going to be your own. Everything else is got to be something that somebody else can do. If somebody else can't do it, it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. All right, so we've got 6 steps here on the story. Remember, you can get this PDF document that I'm going through right now from the John's Vima team. All right, go into getting your newest person, go into the pin post or the getting started training folder, the Dropbox. Go into the gateway to success folder, and go into getting your newest person started, and then you've got this PDF there. All right, so bam, you got your story steps 1 to 6, and it's very, very simple. I'll just go through a few of the steps. But the first part to your story is your background, your why, and the reason you kept an open mind. You know what I mean? My background, Tyrone Reed, 23 years old, average individual. You know what I mean? Graduated from university last year in sport and exercise science. You know what I mean? And literally, my why, the reason why I got involved, is simply because of, at first I just wanted to make a ton of money. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to make a ton of money, but going through a few things, you know what I mean, having lost family members due to health issues, you know what I mean, also understanding the value of time, made me really begin to value this whole company and what it can offer. It really made me value residual income, because one thing I want to do in life is homeschool. That's my biggest goal. I'm a family man through and through. I don't have a family yet, but I'm a family man through and through. You know what I mean? I want to be able to spend time with my wife. I want to be able to spend time with my children. That's my aim. That is my goal. That's what I am going to achieve. All right, so that's why this made sense to me, simply because a 9 to 5 doesn't offer me the opportunity to homeschool. You know what I mean? I don't like the idea of my child spending more time with their school teachers than they do with me, and me spending more time with my colleagues than I do with my family. I don't like that idea. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why I do this business. And the reason why I kept an open mind in the beginning was simply because I didn't have much opportunities or choices out there. You know what I mean? I was leaving university where 47% of university graduates graduate either unemployed or underemployed. 47%. And I had no opportunities popping up at that moment. The only opportunity I had was a scholarship at West Bromwich, not a scholarship, sorry, an internship at West Bromwich Albion, which was for £8,000 a year, full-time work. And in terms of applicants, there were thousands of applicants. And I was like, crap. And there were like 8 positions. No, sorry, 4 positions. 4 positions. So I was like, crap. You know what I mean? I didn't have many options, so I thought, you know what? I don't have many options. Let me check this out. And that's the reason why I kept an open mind. There wasn't much on the table going for me. You know what I mean? My first exposure was Jamie sent me a video. You know what I mean? So boom, this is going to the way I was exposed to this is my friend sent me a video at like 1:30 in the morning by a guy called Derek Alexander telling his story about the business, about what it's done for him, and it absolutely blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. I thought this guy's making the world of sense. The world of sense. Yeah, and the concept that he was mainly speaking off of is if your aim in life is to make $1 million, how can you listen to your university lecturer who makes 40 to 50,000 pounds a year? If they knew how to make $1 million, they'd be out in the real world making $1 million. When he said that, that really resonated with me. You know what I mean? When he said the hardest thing there is to learn in life is the simple fact that it doesn't take a lot of intelligence to make a lot of money. Doesn't take a lot of intelligence to make a lot of money. You know what I mean? Those things really resonated with me, man. And yeah, this absolutely from then on just really opened my mind and really made me think, you know what? I need to take on board what this guy's saying. Even if I don't do VMA, I need to start thinking about what this guy's thinking about, because he's thinking on a wave in which I need to be thinking. But boom, step 3 is going into your products and you know what I mean, your product why and so on and so forth, and talking about the economy and what's happening in the world right now. And yeah, man, at the home event you'll see us talk about these things massively. So yeah, man, and also you can get your upline to break that down to you as well. I just want to really progress on in this right now. But yeah, literally the aim of the game is to practice your story. Get the structure down, these 1 to 6 steps, get it down, you know what I mean, and practice it. Repeat it to yourself in the mirror. It's simple, man, you know what I mean. The aim of the game is practice. That's all you got to do. The more you practice is the more you get better. You guys are fortunate enough to be able to practice a lot. In the beginning, I just had to just go out there and do it. You know what I mean? I didn't really know what to practice, didn't have a structure in place like this. So yeah, man, you guys are blessed to be having this and having these trainings and so on and so forth. But literally, this is the system in which we use it. It's something that a lot of us have gone through already. It's just more, in a much more structured fashion and in a much more duplicatable fashion. That's the key to this, because what we were finding is, in my organization, is not everyone was singing off of the same song sheet. It would duplicate a couple levels down, then it would just stop. People would start doing some random stuff, you know what I mean, to train their people, or they'd just chop things out and just train them on the invite, for example, not train them on how to follow up or something like that, you know what I mean. It's simple things. And yeah, it didn't duplicate well, and that's where we had people quit, so on and so forth, and then they're scratching our heads like, what do we have to do, you know what I mean, and so on and so forth. So really stick to this system, because it's creating the world of success. This is how John DaCosta went from 1 cycle to 10 cycles in just 3 weeks. Matt Taylor, 1 cycle to 5 cycles in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Joash Miller crushed Diamond. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, people are ranking up left, right, and center through utilizing the system, through not just getting the newest person started, but launching their business. Guys. All right, so yeah, I'm going to stop sharing my screen right about now, if I can find out how to do that. But yeah, guys, thanks for taking time out, jumping onto this call. I'm going to jump right into the Zoom call now and get that 11 o'clock Zoom call started. So yeah, guys, thanks for taking time out. And yeah, yeah, still struggling with this, but yeah, thanks for taking time out, you know what I mean, guys. And yeah, man, really gonna get this going in terms of getting all of your people started, you know what I mean. Make sure you're getting your newest person started, because it's absolutely essential, guys. All right, so I'll catch you guys soon. All right, bye.